What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and a stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as always, thanks so much for hitting the like button for us down below. In this video, a new bill signed into law that will provide an average of $1,700 stimulus checks. I'll show it to you directly here on the screen, and I'll show you who it's for, and also hopefully a lot more of this will be coming. Also, we're going to hear directly from the White House economic advisor, Jared Bernstein. In fact, we'll just jump right here into this on how Americans need a lot more coming. And here, let's jump right into this now about the economic situation going on here right now. And well, here's what he has to say. Check this out.
First read on the number is, given the weakness in hotels and restaurants and bars, that the print sort of reflects a period last month when things were closing and that we're already back to a reopening phase. Is the number stale?
I don't think so. I think today's jobs report shows that the U.S. job creation machine stalled over the past few months, and this underscores the urgent need for the president's American Rescue Plan. 49,000 jobs is far too low, but if you look at the private sector, it's only 6,000 in January. That's essentially zero. When you factor in the negative revisions, which are important, and about 160,000, that's a negative, over the past 3 months, payroll job gains have been 29,000. Now, back that up to the prior 3 months, it was over 1 million. That is a massive downshift in job gains, and it just shows you the extent to which the air pocket has really significantly dampened the employment creation function. And so the necessity, the urgency, the steep costs of inaction around the American Rescue Plan are very much, I think, amplified by this jobs report.
Does the argument for more stimulus, or at least a high number on the stimulus package, Jared, get more complicated when you've got the savings rate in double digits, ISM services 2-year high, a return to job growth, tepid though it may be?
Yeah, that's a very important and a fair question. The reason why the answer is that none of those statistics push anywhere near against the urgency of the plan is because we are deeply into a K-shaped recovery. You know, we can talk about GDP, we can talk about the stock market, but we also need to talk about rising poverty. We need to talk about 24 million people facing hunger, evictions, foreclosures. You know, there are still, even with the unemployment rate today, there are still 10 million people unemployed. Black and Hispanic unemployment rates are highly elevated, around 9%. 40%, this is a very high number, of the 10 million unemployed are long-term unemployed persons. That means they're stuck in joblessness for at least 6 months. So if you look at the people who are suffering the brunt of the virus and its economic impact, it's folks on the bottom leg of the K, the folks who are targeted by this American Rescue Plan.
All right, Jared, this is what's so disturbing to me. So many people got money who have jobs. So many people got money who, frankly, are doing well. And then the people who aren't got the same amount of money. Isn't it time to recognize, just as you just talked about with the K economy, let's flood the zone of people who aren't doing well. Let's flood the zone of minority businesses that have been hurt more than businesses for people who actually we know are doing better. Why can't we just make it so that the people who need it get the money and the rest of the people just continue to lead their lives?
Yeah, so first of all, let me underscore, elevate, and amplify one thing you just talked about, minority businesses. We know for a fact that persons of color, entrepreneurs of color, communities of color were tremendously underserved by the business relief, the Paycheck Act. Now, the president, when he was campaigning, was always leading with this point when he talked to us on the phone about the problems that were ongoing. And so in the American Rescue Plan, the business relief is acutely targeted at businesses of persons of color. So that I think is a real advance. On your other point, again, if you listen to President Biden, he does talk about people who are in the middle class who are struggling, and he is 100% correct about that. You can still have a job, but you've lost hours, you've lost wages, you haven't been able necessarily to make your rent. You might be in mortgage forbearance, which means at the end of this period, you're going to be faced with a big bill. So I think some of these elevated savings rates among middle class families who often have zero or negative saving rates, to me, that's a feature, not a bug.
All right, so Jared, let's talk about certain industries that have been decimated. The restaurant industry has been decimated. The people going out, travel. Is there anything more that should be done there? Can we make it so that there are grants, maybe new? You have such great small business people in the administration where there can be applications targeted to be able to say, you know what? When we're vaccinated, we want to reopen. Could you give us a no-interest loan, a low-interest loan? Get people back in the cities. Because, again, the minority businesses were the ones that were struggling, and they were doing great, and then they just got crushed, and we got to reopen them.
You are so right about this. And, you know, even with low borrowing rates, there are many businesses for whom a grant just makes tons of sense, and a loan is a very heavy lift. So I share that. And in the American Rescue Plan, trust me, we dig deep into precisely that problem. I think what all of this does, and today's jobs report is just, I think, such a powerful data point in this argument. It just underscores the cost of inaction. I mean, when you're adding 29,000 jobs a month on average over the past 3 months, that is a labor market stall. We have in the wings a plan that can finally get American businesses and families to the other side of this crisis and finally control the virus and distribute the vaccine to launch a robust recovery, one that's inclusively and racially equitable in precisely the way, Jim, you're calling for. So this report underscores the urgency of the American Rescue Plan.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. You can see there, this is directly from the White House. That's White House Economic Advisor. And they're talking about a lot of different stimulus items here. It depends on what route they want to go here. With Republicans, we have not seen a lot of Republican support here for stimulus. Which the other route would be to go the reconciliation route. The only stimulus route we have seen is we have some child tax credit support from Republicans, from Republican Senator Mitt Romney and a couple other Republican senators, Marco Rubio, and there was a couple other Republican senators off the top of my head. I don't recall who, but there was a few Republican senators that were in favor of passing the child tax credits, but on Republican terms, which would mean that there would probably be work requirements. Okay, so that would potentially mean that anybody who doesn't have earned income would not get the child tax credit. So it would go back to the old um, way of the child tax credit. So that means anybody that is on Social Security might not get them. Anybody who is on disability might not get them. And so there is a lot of give and take here. So this is it is not necessarily a win for everybody. So, you know, a lot of grandmas and grandpas raise the children and they're on Social Security. You know, that is one of the stimulus items. Remember that there's a lot of different stimulus programs here. There's stimulus checks, there's child tax credits, there's SNAP programs, there's pandemic EBT programs, there's rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance, there's student loans that are currently paused right now for about 1 in 6 million of Americans, or 1 in 6 million, but 1 in 6 adults, which is like 40 some million Americans. There's a lot of different stimulus programs or stimulus type programs. We also have the states that are currently passing or in the process of passing or considering. We'll get to that here in just a minute. If you guys have been watching my channel, that's actually like a really good thing that's been popping up. We had some last year. Remember, the really big one last year was California, who passed these $600 state stimulus checks for over 27 million people. We had Maryland that did $500 stimulus checks last year. We had a lot of different states not a lot, but we had some states that did them last year. But this year, we're going to have a lot more. This year, we're going to have a lot more. We have several different states that have already passed stimulus checks or tax rebate checks or lowering their state taxes, which is essentially more money back in your pocket, or pausing state gas taxes, which means every time you go to the gas pump that you save money. A lot of these, pausing of the gas tax because of how high gas is, that can cost the states like $150 million per month. So this it's nothing to sneeze at, and a lot of states are pausing their grocery taxes. I seen one state that cost them $70 million. So a lot of states are doing a lot of different things. A lot of states are doing property tax rebates where they're sending stimulus checks to property tax owners. The most frequent number I've seen is around $300. I know the state of Illinois has that in their proposal, where they're kind of giving smaller stimulus checks to um, or it's in the proposal phase. The state of Illinois hasn't passed it yet, but small stimulus checks to everybody, and then also property tax rebate or stimulus checks to property tax owners. In addition, Illinois is one of those states where it has in their proposal, it's like $50 to $100 stimulus checks for adults and children, and then there's a $300 up to $300 property tax rebate for homeowners in addition, and also pausing the gas tax, and also getting rid of the grocery tax. I think it's for like a year. So there's like a lot of different things going on there where you could potentially get checks, and save money. That's just one state. Each state is doing things a little bit differently, and each state has to do with how much money they had. Remember that Illinois used to be just recently in the negative. So just like a year or two ago, they had a deficit. They had a deficit. So for Illinois to even be sending money out here is actually quite a turnaround. Quite a turnaround. It's actually kind of similar to California, where just a few years ago they were in the same thing. They were in a deficit, and California is quite a turnaround because they're such a large state. They're such a large economy. They can actually be the fifth largest economy in the world. It's quite remarkable for them to even be sending out stimulus checks. I think they have a $45 billion ish uh, budget surplus. So for a lot of these states to have a complete 180 turnaround is quite remarkable. But just today, we have, as you can see here, the state of Maine, Governor Janet T. Mills has signed a budget delivering significant financial relief for Maine people that will include stimulus checks. You can see it directly here on my screen. That's why I like to show you guys this stuff here. Literally April 20th, 2022. Let me zoom this in here a little bit. The governor says, quote, and this is really just one of the states. I did a massive video with a lot of other states here, but this is breaking news as of today, and there's going to be a lot of other states here as well. But this is the type of stuff that is happening on a weekly or daily basis here with all the states. This is why it's so important to see what all these states are doing, because even if you're not from Maine, this is the type of stuff that is happening for all these different states. She says, quote, today I'm here to say to Maine people, help is on the way. You are our greatest asset, and this budget delivers for you. She says, one day after winning the overwhelming support of the state legislature, the House and Senate of the state, Governor Janet Mills signed the supplemental budget into law today. This budget delivers $850 direct relief payments, aka stimulus checks, to Maine people to help with the high cost of inflation. One of the strongest relief proposals in the country. That's per person, so that'll be $1,700 per married couple. It'll actually say that here in a second. It provides tax relief to working Maine families and 2 years of free community college to pandemic impacted students, among other important initiatives. Wow, that is really cool. In total, the budget gives back, or the budget give back is expected to deliver $1,700 in relief to the average Maine household. I mean, that's a lot of money, especially for the state level. Um, I mean, you really got to take your hat off here to the state of Maine. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the federal government here that gets to print their own money. This is the state. States don't get to print their own money, and to give back $1,700 to the average Maine household, as you can see it right here, um, on your screen here, that's quite a significant amount for a state to give back. States don't get to print their own money. And you can see here it was a bipartisan effort, which is what I really like to see. They said, or the governor says here, we have shown once again that through hard work, Democrats, Republicans, and independents can come together to do what is right for Maine people, and that we can do so without the rancor or bitter bipartisanship that has divided Augusta in the past, said Governor Mills. We may not be able to control inflation or global markets, but we can make sure that Maine people have what they need to grapple with these rising costs, and that is what we are doing today. Today, I'm here to say that Maine people, help is on the way. You are our greatest asset, and that this budget delivers for you. The governor says this emergency legislation takes effect immediately, and that they will issue payments as quickly as possible to an estimated 858,000 Maine people, almost a million people, with a target date of June 1st, 2022 to begin delivery. So there is your estimated delivery date. The payments will be delivered via mail, which is the most reliable method of distribution to ensure that the money is delivered without significant error, is what they said. They said, quote, we will begin the work of immediately getting $850 checks into the mailbox of every Maine adult who qualifies. And as always, we will continue to carefully monitor the Maine economy, the well being of Maine people, and Maine's fiscal health, investing in long term solutions while making the state's solid financial position. It also provides $7 million for property tax relief. An estimated 100,000 low and middle income property owners and renters who pay more than 4% of their household budget will, on property taxes or rent, will be eligible for a refundable tax credit. That means even if you don't owe money to the IRS and you file taxes, we'll get up to $1,000 each year. That means you'll get a check, as long as you file a state tax return. So make sure you file a state tax return. With an even more generous $1,500 in maximum relief extended to seniors. So this is one of those cases where if you don't normally file a state tax return, you might want to talk to a tax professional or somebody who knows your situation if you're from the state of Maine. Also increased tax relief for low and middle income working Maine families, $27.6 million in ongoing general fund dollars, so families can afford necessities and fight poverty with the Maine earned income tax credit, which is for low and middle income families, primarily families earning less than $57,400, increasing the maximum state benefits by an average of $400 per family, bringing the total EITC, which is also known as the adult tax credit or the earned income tax credit, to an average of $764 per year, as well as the 2 years of free community college. They also have an overhaul of the student loan debt repayment program, provides an annual $2,500 or $25,000 of lifetime refundable tax credit benefit for student loan debt relief, prevents tuition hikes across universities of Maine systems for colleges, increases pay for childcare workers and early childhood educators, and fully funds free school meals for $27 million. And a lot of other things like expands children's health insurance, increases Maine care rates, supports Maine hospitals and nursing homes, A lot of different things. So these are the type of things that are going on in all the states. Because remember that even if you're not from Maine, this is really important. And this is why I'm trying to cover all the states. All these states got over $1 billion. Most states got multiple billion dollars from the last stimulus package. Okay. That's the important thing to do. And now that that's the important thing to know. Now that it's 2022, all these states are now getting around to passing their fiscal budget here for this year. And the states are now passing their budgets for this year. In a lot of states, it seems like a snowball effect that states are now passing or considering stimulus checks back to their residents or tax rebate checks, which are really the kind of same thing, or lowering their property taxes for their residents or for renters as well, or pausing gas taxes because of the high price of gas, and all these other type of things here as well, which can put money in your pocket as well in various different ways, lowering grocery taxes, all these other different kind of things. That's why I kind of go over these details because you can see how these states are giving back to their people. Because remember, they got stimulus money from the last stimulus package, but also as these states' economies are kind of going up as the pandemic. Remember the all the same thing. Remember we talk about how inflation is going up because economies are going up, even on the state level, and all these economies are picking up. People are going back to work, and everything is kind of remember this is how inflation works. Everything was down from the pandemic and everything's picking up back now. People are going back to work. That's why all these states are kind of all flush with cash because of the pandemic money, but also because everybody's going back to work. People are going back out now. They're spending more. Even if you don't have a lot of money, just kind of the masses, people want to get out more now, and they're just kind of just in general, states have a lot of money right now. Okay. So basically, these states are like, a lot of people are hurting, but a lot of the people that have money and stuff are spending a lot more. So that's why all these states are like, how do we help the people that are hurting and how do we give back and how do we use our stimulus money now? So that's why if you've been watching my shows and watching my headlines, there's kind of a snowball effect right now of all these states that are like, well, we have to spend the stimulus money, we have to give back, we have to figure out what to do. Some states are more generous than others. It really kind of depends on your governor and your state legislature, but also it depends on how much money your state has, okay? How your state's been run in the past. Some states are just were in the negative here recently, and some states um, don't have that much of a budget surplus. So that's why I'm kind of going over these states one by one as I come up with them, as well as covering the federal stimulus checks, the federal government, how they're trying to pass it, what they're trying to do here in the future, and keeping you up to date here with everything going on here in our country. I just did a really, really important video that covers a lot of the states, not all of them. I can't fit everything in one video, but I'll also keep you up to date with everything going forward here. But you definitely need to watch that video if you haven't yet. I'll link you to it here in a moment. But make sure you subscribe to our channel here. It's completely free to do so. If you haven't yet, just click the subscribe button down below. Like I said, it's completely free. Remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date here with everything you need to know about on a daily basis. You can click this video here to watch my newest video next. And this video is that really important stimulus video that I just did here recently. If you haven't watched that, click on that video next. So click on one of those. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.